Evan Lazar here, reporting from Gillette Stadium for CLNS Media, coming to you from day 2 of Patriots Minicamp with your standouts from Wednesday's practice session. About 2 hours, it ended up being sunny, no rain for the Patriots on Wednesday, as was originally projected in the forecast. So we saw plenty of work on offense, defense, special teams, a lengthy 2-hour practice session out there today on Wednesday afternoon. And we have to start any standout video with the standout throughout the entire 2 days of minicamp and really the entire spring practice session for the Patriots, and that is wide receiver Trey Nixon. Once again, Nixon had the highlight of the day, a one-handed catch on Jonathan Jones deep down the field from Mac Jones. This time, Jonathan Jones seemed to have Trey Nixon's arm, his left arm, pinned against him, maybe holding him a little bit. It left Trey Nixon with just his right arm to catch the football, and that's exactly what he did. He reached out his right hand, secured the football against his chest, against his body, and pulled in a 50-plus yard bomb from Mac Jones deep down the field. Early on in practice, he ran away from Shaun Wade on another crossing route and hit another big completion. He also went back and made a nice catch over the middle against Jonathan Jones on a shorter completion. So Trey Nixon doing it at all 3 levels of the defense and doing it often. 5 catches out there today during team drills on Wednesday. And what you're going to ask me now, or what you're going to say to me now, Evan, is you're going to say, Evan, why is this any different than Riley McCarron, Austin Carr, Braxton Berrios? The list goes on and on. We've heard the spring hype for all of these receivers over the years in New England. It's spring practice, it's June, it doesn't mean anything. Well, the one thing I'll say in response to that, or the 2 things I should say, I'll say in response to that with Trey Nixon. Number 1, you look at his pro day numbers. Over 6 feet tall, a 4.44 in the 40-yard dash, and a 6.89 three-cone time. This is a receiver that has an NFL body type, that has an NFL athletic ability, and really looks like an NFL wide receiver. We're not talking about a 5'8", 5'9" slot receiver that is just a nice little story here in the middle of June. We're actually talking about somebody that has NFL level traits in terms of his athletic profile and his size, and it probably would have been a much higher pick than a 7th rounder if he wasn't injured in the 2021 NFL draft. The other thing I would say about Trey Nixon, those other guys, they were doing it against 3rd and 4th stringers, going up against the scout team defense and making plays against cornerbacks that quite frankly didn't make the Patriots roster most seasons. Well, Trey Nixon's doing it against Jonathan Jones. He's doing it against Miles Bryant, Shaun Wade, guys that the Patriots will probably roster this season on their 53-man roster. And in Jones's case, obviously the top slot corner for the Patriots going into the season. Trey Nixon is not doing this against scrubs, is my point. He's going out there against starters and making plays. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Nobody's putting him into the Patriots Hall of Fame just yet. But I do think the Patriots have something here with Trey Nixon that goes beyond just something to talk about in the middle of June in the offseason out here at minicamp. Some other standouts for the Patriots on Wednesday, going over to the defensive side of the ball. Rookie cornerback Jack Jones is heavily involved in these practices. Again, a little bit of an up and down performance today from Jack Jones. He did struggle at times covering Nelson Agholor. He was beat on a go ball by Agholor, beat over the middle on a dig pattern by Agholor as well. But he did come back later on in practice and break up a pass intended for Agholor on a little hitch route, and he had an interception on the scout team defense against the scout team offense. So some really good flashes from Jack Jones, who is very much in the mix here as early as June for a Patriots rookie. As we know, that is notable in itself, that the Patriots coaching staff is already giving him looks against the starting offense to see what Jack Jones has and what he's made of. I think he's got good ball skills. I think he's got good coverage ability. You can see the smoothness in which he can move around the football field. Maybe just getting used to still the speed of the NFL game for 1, and for 2, some of the route details that he's going to see from NFL wide receivers versus wide receivers in the college game. It's a totally different game, so he's going to have to adjust a little bit to the speed of the game up here in the pros. But Jack Jones heavily involved in the first 2 days of Patriots minicamp. He's in the mix. I wouldn't surprise me if he gets some serious run as a rookie come September and in the regular season. Last but not least, Back at right tackle for the second consecutive day was Isaiah Wynn. Trent Brown repping, of course, at left tackle. We spoke to Wynn after practice on Wednesday. I asked him if this was a conversation that he had with the coaching staff before minicamp. In other words, did you know that you were going to be playing so much on the right side once you arrived here in Foxborough? He said something like that, along the lines of, yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, they cleared it with me. And he seems generally okay with it. I do think in the back of anybody's head would be the fact that if he does have a good season and he does stay healthy playing right tackle, probably not going to get paid the premium that left tackles do in free agency. But Wynn mentioned that he's not thinking about his contract right now, just wants to play the best season possible for the Patriots in 2022. If you really want to dig deep on this, I do think there is an angle that suggests that maybe the Patriots are thinking about trading Isaiah Wynn before the start of the season and getting Trent Brown ready to play left tackle, and then you're only displacing one position instead of having to flip Trent Brown back to left tackle after he repped all summer at right tackle. So Wynn at right tackle, maybe the expendable piece here. I think we're still a little bit too soon for that, but it is something that we're going to continue to monitor here throughout the summer. Is Isaiah Wynn, okay, the rest of the offensive line is in place. 4/5 of the starters know where they're playing. Trent Brown at left tackle, Cole Strange at left guard, center, of course, David Andrews, and right guard, Mike Onwenu. That's the four guys locked into those spots. Right tackle, it could be Isaiah Wynn, it could be Justin Herron, but maybe you're switching one player out for another player instead of splitting up the entire offensive line. So if you want to go deep on that one, there's one theory there that maybe this could be reading the tea leaves of an exit for Isaiah Wynn. So those are your standouts for the Patriots on day 2 of Patriots Minicamp down here at Gillette Stadium. You can read my notebook with more takeaways from Wednesday's practice on CLNSmedia.com. And as always, follow us right here on Patriots Press Pass. I'm Evan Lazar for CLNS Media. Thanks for watching.